What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing good. Today's video is another great one. Got another awesome product going on the 2019 Silverado 5.3. She's a little dirty right now, but that'll get cleaned up real quickly. Block of Chips gonna take care of me. Getting the wrap, so that's an update. The wrap for the truck, just a clear ball wrap, not a full paint wrap or anything like that, just a clear ball protective wrap. Or protective film for the truck is going to be Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. I'm probably going to drop it off Monday, and then they should have it back to me by Thursday of next week. So quick turnaround for that. Decently enough priced. But today's video is an upgrade that a lot of people want for these trucks. And without further ado, there we have it, the Pulsar LT. If anybody is doing performance stuff on these newer 2019, 2020 newer body style Silverados, that Pulsar is what most other guys want and need and want to have, want to use, whatever way you want to call it. But all this is going to do is basically give you some options of different features about your truck that you can change to enhance your driving capabilities. Let's just go read it off right from the packaging. It says greatly improves overall drivability and throttle response. And then on the back side here, it gives a little bit more of a description, excuse me. But it's right here, just a plug and play kind of operation, which is great. A lot of guys like that about this Pulsar. And then once you install it, which it literally takes you maybe 15 minutes tops to install this, because it is a plug and play, you hop on in to your driver's seat in your cab and you go away at toggling through the different features that it has, and you set it the way you want it. And then a bonus feature with this is the throttle response, and I'll go over that at the end of the video. But that's really something that I'm kind of looking for. I got a little bit more response time with my throttle based on the cold air inductions that I put on last night. So if you guys haven't seen that video, the whole install video of me putting that on, make sure you guys go watch that as well. But again, today's video is the Pulsar LT. So let's go ahead and get this started. First thing you got to do is pop your trunk. I've already popped it from the inside here. There's our nice big massive cold air inductions filter right there. Sounds awesome when you're on the throttle. Subtle sound when it's just idling, but sometimes you can't even hear that with the straight pipes that I have on this truck. So again, if you're new to the channel, this is Moto AK-47. I like loud stuff. Motorcycles, cars, Corvettes, that's my main thing, and trucks. So the trucks got to be loud too, just like the motorcycles got to be loud, just like the Vets got to be loud, and what other vehicles I have has to be loud, except for the subtle ones that kind of just use to use. But first thing we have to do to install our Pulsar LT is remove our negative battery terminal. We're working with wires, so we don't want to mess anything up in here. Just go ahead and remove that negative battery terminal and keep yourself safe. So let's go ahead and do that. 10 millimeter. Go ahead and tuck that away back here. And now let's go over to our air filter area location, and we'll go ahead and get some clips off over there. One quick note here before we begin. I did install my cold air inductions housing and filter first. I said that in this actual cold air inductions install video. So if you guys haven't seen that video, go watch that video first, because this is what you want to do first before you put your Pulsar on. If you put your Pulsar on first with your stock stuff, if you're leaving it stock, that's fine. But if you're changing to a cold air intake, then you want to do the Pulsar second or last. You want to do your cold air intake first, so that the same thing I'm doing right here right now, I can going to mount my Pulsar right here. But if this was my stock one and I was doing a cold air intake, then I'd have to rip that Pulsar off and then go get some new Velcro or whatever to stick on the new cold air inductions intake. So it just defeats the purpose. You got to go back and unhook everything. So it's just a pain. It's just better off. You're better off doing it this way, putting your cold air intake on first and then doing the Pulsar situation, which is exactly what I'm doing right now, which is exactly what you guys should do as well. All right, kind of step one here when we get over to our cold air intake filter area location is you're going to be working with this wiring harness right here. This is all the only wiring harness you're going to need. So pay attention to this red tab here and this spinning dial right here, and the tab that is located right here on the right side closest to you as you're working in the engine bay. So first thing we're going to do is lift up on this red tab here, just like that. Then you're going to push with your thumb and use your left hand also to lift up this way. So you're going to push on this tab here and lift up on the other side, and this dial is going to spin and unlock itself, and this whole unit, this whole section right here that's kind of flimsy just a little bit, is going to lift up on to closest to this black part here. So push this tab, lift up with the other hand, that dial is spinning, and there we have it. So it's going to come off just like that. It's okay if this part comes up with it. I did this a little bit ago and it came up with it, but if it doesn't, all you're going to have to do is stick a flathead screwdriver right down in there and just push back a little bit, and while you're lifting up with your other hand, just to get this up and off, because you're going to be needing that for a second. Next thing we're going to do is remove this Christmas tree zip tie right here. I'm using needle nose pliers, just don't have to stick my hand down there and cut my hand. So I'm just going to use needle nose pliers and remove that. So that's going to be going towards you again, pulling towards you. And then all we're going to do is use our lowering part of our new wiring harness right there. And we're going to attach that to this portion here. I'll tell you how easy it is in a second. All you're going to be doing is looking at this back piece here to know which one goes to which. Very easy. All right, so you see now this is loose. There's that Christmas tree zip tie right there. And this is the backing of it. It has these two ridges on it right here. Sorry, I had the camera wrong. Has these two ridges right here. All you're going to do is use the opposite one of your new wiring harness. So you see this one right here. This is the lower part of the wiring harness. This is the same thing as our factory one right there. It has those two ridges right there. So that lets you know that this part will be connecting back into our factory side right there. So this again is the correct side you're going to be plugging into your factory one, which is right there, the one we just took off. This is the lower portion right here. So let's go ahead and connect this. And just like our factory one, the dial side is going to go towards you, just like the dial side was towards you for your factory one. All right, goes in like that, snaps into place. This pushes down just like that. Make sure that's in there snug. And then all we have left to do is push our red tab down, lock it in place. And now all we're going to do is stuff this portion down here below and in front of our air filter box and zip tie it up, just so that we have a clean install. But just for the sake of video, I'm going to do that off camera and just finish showing you guys this setup. Okay, now we have our new wiring harness set up, all ready to go. This portion again right here, this longer section, is to plug into the Pulsar. So remember our two ridges that we have on the back of here, 1 and 2. This will go on this section right here. All it's going to do is slide straight down, just like that. Slid straight down on that back side right there. And all we have left to do is put our factory wiring harness back on. Remember the dial facing you, the red lock tab facing you. It's going to snap right back in, just like that. Then this piece again that has our tab that we used in our thumb earlier, push that down, the dial will spin. You'll see that little slit for the locking tab, which is red right here. Just go ahead and make sure you give just one more little push down. Make sure that's snug and back on there correctly. And then all we're going to do is lock our red tab down, push down, and there we have it. Last thing we have to do is put our Pulsar, connect our Pulsar and stick it onto this side of our air filter. So here we have our Pulsar. Locking tab side toward you, Pulsar logo toward you, snaps into place. Give it one more push, make sure that's on correctly. We already put our Velcro on. All we have to do is take off our other sticky side. Boom. And remember, I'm sticking mine over here. I like to have my stuff visible to give that a nice hold on there for about 30 seconds and you should be good to go. Okay, so now it's been about 30 seconds of pushing that on there. We are all ready and set to go. That's how easy it is to install this Pulsar LT. So now all we have left to do is jump in the driver's seat and toggle through our settings to get this thing up and rolling. And now we are inside of the truck, so we are going to go ahead and get all of this squared away to finish this full setup of the Pulsar LT. So remember, before you hop in the truck, reconnect your negative battery terminal, close your hood, and then you're ready to jump on in and preset everything the way you want it. So right here, I've got the directions in front of me. I'll read these really quickly here. First one, it says engine off. Number 2, using your push start, foot off the brake, press and hold start button 5 seconds using a key. If you have a key truck and not the push to start, it says turn your key to the run position. Number 3, hold cancel cruise button for 5 seconds. Navigate with the res and set to feature. Press cancel cruise to select the feature. Here it lists everything that you need to know, which feature does what, which mile per hour does what, and I'll explain that a little bit more as we get into this, but it lists out every single one of them and what they all do and how to do it. So these numbers will help you. Something else that will help you is if you put your display screen on the speedometer setting, so that you can better tell which one you're actually going to if you can't really read too well your actual gauge over here to the right. So that is one good thing to do. The buttons you're going to be using are over here to your left, not your heated steering wheel. The only button you're using over here is your cancel cruise button and your res and set button, which is this black button right here to scroll up and to scroll down. All right, we're ready to get started here. So first thing we're going to do is foot off the brake. No need to put your foot on the brake. All you're going to do is press and hold your start engine stop button until the light turns green and your dash lights up. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. You can go ahead and press your OK button to dismiss any pop-ups. We are already set in our mile per hour display. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next step. And that is to hold the cancel cruise button for 5 seconds. Sorry, that was my keys dropping. in the middle of the video. But hold our cancel cruise button right here. We're going to hold this for 5 seconds. What's going to happen is our speedometer is going to sweep all the way to 140 and then back down. It just lets us know that we're in our programming menu and we're ready to start going with number 1, which is the speed limiter, which will be at 10 miles an hour. So we'll use our button to just scroll up to 10 miles an hour, and then we'll do our sweep, and I'll show you guys that in a second here. So that's first thing we're going to do is hold our cancel cruise button. Hold that down for 5 seconds. It's doing its sweep. You can let go of now. It's going to sweep all the way back down. Turn that off. Just press your OK button to get rid of that. So we're at 10 miles an hour right now. So our speed limiter says select 10 miles an hour. We're at 10 miles an hour already. And then now it says to adjust with your res and set button, which is that middle black button right there. And then press the cancel cruise button to select it. All right, so to select it, all we had to do was press our cancel cruise button to select it, that we want to adjust our speed limiter. So once you're at 10 miles an hour, you're gonna press your cancel cruise button to select that number 1 feature, which is the speed limiter. And it's going to take you to whatever your preset factory miles per hour was set at. And then all you can do is use your up and down res and set buttons to adjust it. So if we want to go to 113, we can have it at 113. If we want to go down, we can keep going down. And again, this is the part that having your display at miles per hour or your speedometer is best for. So let's say we want to go all the way up to 140. We'll just keep scrolling up to 140. And as you can see, our gauge over there, our stick gauge is moving up as well. So we're at 140 now. So if you want to leave it at 140, all right, what you're going to do now is press the cancel and cruise button again. It's going to do its sweep. Back to 140 and back to 0. That last sweep that you just saw right there is all that is doing is telling the Pulsar to install it in the truck. That's all that that's doing. That last sweep there is just saying, okay, this person wants this installed in the truck. Sweep to 140, back down to 0. Install, and that's done. So now the truck is back in its original state that you got in the truck right before you press that engine start stop button and held it for 5 seconds to turn your dash on. That's the same state it's in right now. So you are no longer in the programming menu. To get back to the programming menu, all you have to do is press and hold your cancel cruise button for 5 seconds again, and then it'll sweep to take you back into the programming menu mode. So let's do that. Hold for 5 seconds. It'll sweep to 140 and back to 0. And now it's at 10. Let's go ahead and get rid of that message again. So now we are back in the programming mode. So something else that a lot of people will do, I'll just go over maybe 2 more of these. The rest you can do, they're exactly the same. You can figure it out on your own, but it's all the same steps. Let's go with the big one. Everybody wants to get rid of this, the start stop, and that is at 60 miles an hour. Okay, let's drop down to auto stop start disable. This is a big one that everybody wants to get rid of. It's this button right here. Every single time you get into the vehicle, you have to manually turn that off just to get the auto stop feature to stop doing what it's supposed to do. People have their different opinions about it. I have mine. But for me, I want to disable this feature. So right here, it tells you 0 miles per hour is to activate it, leave it activated. And 10 miles an hour is going to disable it. We want to disable this. So to get back into our programming mode, We're gonna hold our cruise cancel button for 5 seconds. It should sweep to 140 and then back down to 10 miles an hour. You don't have to hold it anymore after that 5 seconds. Sweep to 140 and now it's back at 10 miles an hour. In our directions, it shows that 60 miles an hour is our auto stop start disable. So we're gonna scroll up using our resin set button all the way up to 60 miles an hour. Again, this is where your digital miles per hour speedo will come in handy and help you. So now we're at 60 miles an hour. All we're gonna do is press the cancel cruise button to select this programming feature, which is the auto stop start disable feature. It's gonna sweep to 140 and back to 0 miles an hour. So now 0 miles an hour, let's remember, it shows it 0 miles per hour being active, means activated, leave it on, but we want to disable it, so we have to go up to 10 miles an hour. So let's go to 10 miles an hour. 10 miles an hour is right there. So now to disable it, all we have to do is come over to our cruise cancel button and hit it once. Auto stop off, and then it's going to sweep to 140 and back down to 0. So now our auto stop start orange light has gone off and we have successfully disabled auto stop. The last one that I'm going to go over with you guys is another big one that a lot of people disable, is the active fuel management. This one is at 70 miles an hour. So just like we did our auto stop start at 60 miles an hour, we're going to go to 70 miles per hour now and do the fuel management disable, which is at 10 miles an hour again. So now that our vehicle is back in its original state, we have to get back into our programming menu, which is holding our cruise cancel button, until our speedo sweeps to 140 and back to 10 miles an hour, which that means it lets us know that we're back in our programming mode. Sweeps to 140, you can let go. Should go to 10 miles an hour. So now we are back in our programming mode. So now remember, we have to go to 70 miles an hour to get our fuel management programming. 70 miles an hour. Now to select this programming, again, all we have to do is press our cruise cancel. Sweeps to 140, should go back down to 0. So now we are in our fuel management setting, which is at 70 miles an hour. So now we want to disable this. So we have to go to 10 miles an hour to disable this. Scroll up to 10 miles an hour. We are at 10 miles an hour, and to select to disable it, all we have to do is hit our button once, and there we go. It's doing its sweep back down to 0. Now we have successfully disabled our AFM DFM fuel management. That's it, guys. Those are all the only ones that I'm going to go over right now. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Got a lot more content coming with the new truck, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.